of the underlying material, right? And it was one that they could really see and touch much more and have a really deep connection with compared to just some kind of newspaper. So this idea of dramatization, really cool. He stands up on this podium, okay? And he says to these people, he says, the amount of saturated fat in one medium bag of popcorn is the same put in a fire, like lighter oil, lighter fluid. You douse the whole book in lighter fluid. He went down on his knees and showed that he really meant what he said with dramatization. Don't propose without dramatizing the romantic environment when you pop the question. The same thing, you know, with kids too, right? Joe Fan from Alabama was having a tough time getting his 5-year-old boy and his 3-year-old daughter to pick up their toys, so he invented a train, and Joey was kind of the conductor on his tricycle, and he had a wagon attached to it, and all that evening they spent the entire time, you know, his sister was loading all the coal into the wagon, which was like the caboose. And it's just this idea that you can really, you know, get people to do things they wouldn't necessarily normally do, that are great for them, that are amazing for them, by just kind of dramatizing the fact of what they're doing, right? And the room got cleaned up super easily, no lectures, no arguments, no threats. All you have to do is sort of think about how you can take something, take an idea, take a process, take a system, and put a new spin on it, right? Put a new spin on the facts, and think about a new way you could approach it in a fresh light. What's cool is with Mary Catherine Wolf from Indiana was having some really tough problems at work and decided that she had to discuss them with her boss. So one morning, she requested an appointment with him, but told that he was very busy and should arrange with his secretary for an appointment later that week. So the secretary told her that the schedule was tight and that she would try to fit her in. And basically, she didn't get a reply all week. And whenever she questioned the secretary, she would give her a reason why the boss could not see me. And then finally, Friday morning came, and this lady had heard nothing definite, and she really wanted to see him and discuss some challenges before the weekend. So she asked herself, you know, how could she get him to see her? And she realized she had to dramatize her position. And so she wrote a formal letter and indicated in the letter that she fully understood how extremely busy that he was all week, but it was important that she speak with him. And she enclosed a form letter and self-addressed envelope and asked him to please fill it out or have his secretary do it and return it to him. A self-addressed envelope! And inside that envelope, she had a letter that said, Miss Wolf, I will be able to see you on blank at blank AM PM. I will give you blank minutes of my time. How cool is that? How can you deny talking to somebody if they do that for you? She put this letter in his mailbox at 11, and at 2 p.m., she checked her mailbox and there was the self-addressed envelope, and he answered the form himself and indicated he could see her that afternoon and give her 10 minutes of his time. And then they met and they talked for over an hour and resolved all the challenges needed. Why? Because when you get 10 minutes with somebody and you have the social skills that we've been developing, you can connect, you can get them to talk about themselves and have that growth, have that longer conversation, have that connection that lasts by facilitating longer form growth with quality social skills to actually connect and have that quality relationship, right? Worked out really well for her, but it would not if she didn't dramatize the fact that she really wanted to see him. She'd probably still be waiting for her appointment. So with that said, there's one other guy, and I think it's really interesting. It was James Blyton, and he had to present a lengthy market report, which is cool, I guess. And his firm had just finished an exhaustive study for the leading brand of cold cream, and data was kind of needed immediately about the competition in this market. So the prospective client was one of the biggest and most formidable people in the advertising business. And so at first, the approach failed almost before it even begun. He walked in and he found himself sidetracked into a futile discussion about the methods used in the investigation. And they argued, and they argued, and they argued. And this guy told Dale that he was wrong, and they tried to prove that he was right, and everyone thought he was incorrect, and he knew he was right, and it was just this huge mess. And finally, he won his point to his own satisfaction. But remember, when you win an argument, in reality, you're not winning anything. And everybody else was super pissed off, the time was up, the interview was over, and they didn't produce any results whatsoever. And after that happened, he decided he was gonna go in a second time. The second time, he didn't bother with tabulations or figures or data. Instead, he went to see this man that he was working for, and he dramatized his facts, right? As he entered the office, this guy was busy on his phone, and while he finished his conversation, he opened up a suitcase, and he dumped 32 jars of cold cream on top of his desk. All products he knew, all competitors of his. And on each jar, he tagged itemizing the results of the trade investigation. And each tag told a brief, dramatic story. There was no longer an argument about what happened. This was something new, something different. He could pick up the first one, and then another one, and then another jar of the cold cream, and he could read the information on the tag. And then, instead of looking at facts and figures or PowerPoint, they didn't actually matter to him. He was able to see what was really going on right in front of his face. They talked, and they asked questions about the situation in the market, and he was intensely interested. And even though he originally gave him 10 minutes to present his facts, remember this idea that you can get more time if you develop social skills, this 10 minutes passed to 20 minutes, 40 minutes, and at the end of the hour, they were still talking about this work. Why? Because he dramatized his ideas. This guy presented the same facts this time as he presented originally, but the only difference is he dramatized his facts. And he used showmanship to make a massive, 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 massive difference. So please, 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 if you want to have an impact and spread your idea, dramatize your idea. This is huge. This is just massive. Honestly, guys, really made the stick. Tools Titans, really made to stick though. This is like completely, like the entire book Made to Stick is like about this single concept, and it's way, way, way deeper than I could ever get here. Definitely, if you really need to sell ideas, like I would recommend you guys check out Made to Stick. That's one that it was actually kind of interesting. I was on Google Slides, I was making this PowerPoint and for Moneris, for the company, and they like have a PowerPoint template on Google Slides that's made by the authors of Made to Stick. And then I looked up the book and I was like, all right, cool, I guess I'll read it. And it was like so good. So that's kind of my story about how I learned about it. I thought it was kind of interesting. It was a really good marketing ploy. I don't know how they did that, but it was very, very impressive. Definitely it worked. It worked really well. So yeah, killer stuff, guys. Thank you so much. Go out there, apply it, absolutely crush it. And I have something. Let me get something. Here's a piece of paper. I'm gonna crush it right in front of you because you guys are gonna crush it, which is super exciting. So thank you guys so much, and I will see you in the next module. Woo! Bye.